Happy Friday the 13th. Today we're going to be doing a tier list for all of the iterations of Jasons throughout the movies, including the reboot and Freddy vs. Jason. And we are going to go in order of the movies. The first movie, Friday the 13th, he's not really in it that much. He's actually just weird, deformed kid Jason that kind of gets like a moment in the end. I hate this version of Jason.
That one's an F tier for me. I think his whole entire plot device is that he's ugly, uh, which is fine. But just, I will say though, top tier bullies, dude was ugly and they fucking killed him. which which is insane to think about.
It justifies him coming back and killing them all.
Right, like in a way, I'm like rethinking it. I'm like he's kind of a pimp in a way, and I'm not really buying him turning into like a 6'6" behemoth of a person. That's my thing. You're a fucking scrub. You hit like a 16-inch growth spurt.
I think the design is crazy. I think that's a crazy choice to go with. But like Dallas was saying, it makes sense that they were kind of picking on him.
Man, whatever. That nigga ugly. That dude is ugly as fuck. It's like if you put a kid in like the pocket of your pants and then washed your pants by accident in the washing machine. That's what he looks like. He looks like he was left out in the rain. So
It looks like stomped on bubblegum, bro. It looks ridiculous.
He's too ugly for me to feel bad about it. You know, like deep down, when you're that ugly, you deserve it. You did something, and that's just what it is.
But yeah, okay. I'm good with giving it an F tier, man.
He's a pussy.
Friday the 13th, part 2, Baghead Jason comes, steps up his game, a little athletic, it hasn't quite donned the mask just yet. Not the one we know him for, but he is murdering everybody at Camp Crystal Lake. All of the same abilities. He's a little bit stronger. He's a little bit faster. He's setting traps, but he's not invulnerable Jason yet. He's not like you could still stab this guy and he's going down for the count. He's wavering at like a B tier for me.
I'll go B tier, but I can honestly move it up to A tier. I think like from a pure scary perspective, like the bag is way more terrifying to me. I think you gotta give him a high rating. I like the overall with the flannel. I think it's pretty cool. I'm not really into the fucking mama's boy thing either, which maybe is like across all Jasons, but I feel like it's most apparent with this one. So I'm actually for me, I'm gonna put that down to C. Put that down to C tier for me.
It just doesn't have that iconic mask in it for me that kind of makes it like it doesn't scream Jason. I don't think anybody, if you don't know who Jason Voorhees really is, which you know him in pop culture, I don't think you know that there's a baghead Jason out there. So this is really one that's like for the Friday the 13th fans. So baghead Jason, we'll throw him in the C tier. In Friday the 13th, part 3, Jason dons the hockey mask finally. This is where we get the iconic Jason. We hit the ground running, and from here on out, we always know Jason as the hockey mask killer with the machete. I'm putting this up at the A tier.
You got to put this one high, though. It's kind of crazy that it wasn't until the third movie that he really gained like his iconic image that he's so synonymous with now. So I got to say, just for starting it up like that, got to put it at a high tier. A tier seems appropriate.
Yeah, the clean mask is definitely the move, and in this one he seems a little bit stronger, more haunting, a little bigger. I'll go with A tier.
I'm good with A tier. Part 4, the final chapter. They truly thought this would be the end of Jason Voorhees. Tommy Jarvis, as a little kid, he kills Jason. He puts the machete through the head because they truly thought he was going to die. The thing is, in this movie, he's super aggressive. Apex predator Jason. He's like hawking down all these campers. He goes to the neighboring houses, which is where he finds Tommy Jarvis and his sister. Like, this Jason is just out for blood. He has no specific reason to be attacking these people or anything. Like, when you think of Jason Voorhees, like iconic before Zombified, you're thinking of the final chapter. I'm good to put it in the S tier solely because this is our guy.
It sounds like he got his ass with the whole movie, and that's a point deduction for me. You're also walking around with a chip. I think it's the chip in the mask. Like, you're walking around like fucking Harry Potter because Tommy Jarvis murked you. And I just think I don't know. Like, if your entire thing was you got your ass whipped for the whole movie, that's not S tier for me. That's not S tier. It can't just be the design. It's got to be the actions.
That's a good point. Actions. He does get his ass kicked by a kid at the end, so that is a good point.
I don't know. I'm cool with giving him a higher tier, even though he does get his ass beat. It seems like it's the smokiest Jason so far on the list for me.
He got folded by a kid.
He does get folded by a kid.
He got yoked up by a kid. You just got to think about the other entries in the list, man.
True. Part 4, A tier, certified. We're going to be skipping Friday the 13th, part 5, because it technically doesn't star Jason Voorhees. On to Friday the 13th, part 6, Jason Lives. This is my personal favorite Friday the 13th movie, but I don't know if it's my personal favorite Jason. This is the zombified Jason. He gets reanimated. He's got maggots coming out of his skin. He's got gray skin. He's got super strength. He's invulnerable. He's killing people in very creative ways, chopping people with machetes, and they're going 20 feet in the other way. But we finally get to see Jason in his prime, even though he's technically dead.
Tommy yoked your ass up, spun the block on you. Can you imagine getting your ass whooped and the man who whooped your ass seeks you out and does it again? That's tough for me. That's tough for me. I will say, zombified Jason is like always my favorite form. That's when things start to get really fucking cool, in my opinion.
I think this Jason has something that I think we've talked about in Michael Myers films, where he starts to get a little supernatural and stuff. I think that always makes stories a little bit more exciting. Like going as far as to have teleporting moves and stuff like that. He's invulnerable. It definitely makes for a more exciting movie.
S tier, definitely worthy. This next one, they introduce a psychic / telekinetic person that is trying to talk to her father, and she reanimates Jason again while he's at the bottom of Camp Crystal Lake. He's nasty. His skin is like ripped from his body. He's just a skeleton basically, but he's still super fucking buff and ripped. He's still got the chain around his neck like he's a Mortal Kombat villain.
Right.
I love the design of this Jason. A lot of style. I don't remember as many of his kills. He does get his ass thrown around in this movie by the psychic at the end. I would say maybe he's a B tier.
I personally think it's crazy that you could see his bones and he's like, but no, make no mistake, I'm still fucking shredded. I'm still jacked out of my mind, which to me means it can go no lower than B tier. I think when Jason hits the intersection between like traditional slasher and also there can be psychics, and I am in fact a zombie, and I have that. And the chain makes him almost seem like
Chain is tough.
like some Loch Ness monster type shit, you know?
I do like the mass progression that it, like they still have the chop in the head with the machete, but from the propeller, his mask is cut up on the bottom, and you can kind of see where the propeller got his mouth, so you can see his teeth, because the other side of his face isn't super fucked up like that.
I think it's kind of crazy that he came into contact with the telekinetic person and kept his composure. Like, can you imagine being like, I'm going to kill a teenager and he fucking flying all over the place?
Also, what I liked about part 6, they just carry it over with him being more supernatural. And it seems like he gets even beefier in this one.
This one felt more like a King Kong versus Godzilla type movie instead of survival horror movie. Like, I think they just wanted to put somebody up against Jason that was insane and just have it be a duke out fest where Jason could actually fight somebody. It's kind of a different movie in general, so it's kind of in its own realm. I think for design wise though, and the way the Jason looks, like I agree, nothing lower than B tier. I just think this movie is one of the weaker ones personally. I'm sure there's some people that will swear by this movie, but B tier, definitely a great design, just less memorable Jason in my opinion. Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I love this Jason's look. This like the all wet black. This is where I could see you thinking it's like a mechanic suit. Like this is the Jason suit for me in my head.
The reason why this is the best Jason, one, because of the outfit. Sleek, all black. You know why? Because we own a business trip. And we're here to do business. I'm just here to hurt people. That's the whole point. That's what we're about over here. Also, he punches a dude's head off. Boxer scene. Two of the hardest characters in fiction meet. That boxer and Jason. And after absolutely eating like a 54 piece, Jason just punches his head off like it was nothing. But you know why I like Jason? Because he gave him some respect. He paused for a second. He's like, you know what? You do a lot of things, but you're not a bitch.
Fucking boxer dude goes full night guy, and Jason's like, definitely the hardest dude out there.
He's like, listen, between you and me, if I was Michael Myers' dog, I'd be asleep right now. Between you and me. The way he dies is bullshit, in my opinion. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. But I like seeing him in a new setting. I'm only remiss that they didn't give him Tim's. Because
I was just about to say.
Because, you know, if they gave him Tim's, I don't even think, like, the video should be stopped immediately.
Like, I almost want to make it lose points for not having the Tim's. Right. You really fumbled it.
I would make it a point to say I'd take a fucking lawsuit from Timberland if I was the company. It's like he's wearing Tim's. He's wearing Tim's. Characters would have to mention it. They'd be like, "Oh my God, it's Jason with Tim's." It would be like a Tribe Called Quest. Like you gotta say like the whole thing. You'd be like, holy shit! It would be Jason with Tim's takes Manhattan. That's what I think.
This is totally worth an S tier. This next one is atrocious to me. Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. They tried to end the series
Ugh.
again. The thing is, he's Jason like the first 5 minutes of the movie. Actual SWAT team comes out, like more than 20 people. They come and shoot the shit out of him. Literally, his limbs are flying everywhere. Like it looks like a war scene. And then the entire movie, he's like possessing people with his evil heart.
It's too much.
It's a lot. He's Jason for 5 minutes, and then it's literally him just killing people, but it's other people that he's possessing.
I think this for me has to be F tier, but it's a shame because the actual design with the costume and stuff, if it was the right kind of movie, this could be like in-game Jason. Like if Jason's pursuing you, you know he's really playing for, like this is Game 7 Jason.
I feel like they could have did more with this suit, with this design, because I kind of like it. It's not the best, but I like it. But I just feel like they fumbled it with all the extra nonsense that's going on in that movie.
It's a tough suit, in my
This
opinion.
is
It's a tough
tough.
suit.
I like
I don't know how I feel about like the mask is almost comically small to me. Like it was even just a little smaller.
Yeah.
like the glasses and the nose.
Yeah, like design wise, it is Final Friday. Like you get the sense that like, okay, Jason's on the last leg here.
Yeah.
But did we execute? No. Fucking movie apparently sucked.
I'm with that. This is a F tier. This is one of my least favorite ones. I think it's hilarious they don't even call this Friday the 13th. They just call it Jason X. They do something interesting with Jason. He is technically zombie Jason for the first half of the movie. He's killing people on the ship. He's doing his thing. He's actually holding up to the future technology and stuff. But to even give this movie a chance, I think you just do Jason. Uber Jason is what they call him. Mecha Jason. I mean, with nanobites, trying to like Frankenstein together supernatural and robots. It's a lot going on, but I love it. Low key.
Okay.
I know it's a bad movie.
Hey, they know that.
But they know that, right? Exactly. They embrace it. They're just like, fuck it. We're making him Robot Jason. We know it's a bad movie. Just enjoy it. Every franchise, before it jumps the shark, it's got to go to space. They said, fuck it. Put Jason in space. He's punching through steel doors. He's fighting androids.
I feel like there should have been a Tommy Jarvis cryo freeze that they should have thought of. But outside of that, I mean, he seems to be like the strongest version of Jason. So for me, I'm willing to put this A B tier. I would have actually enjoyed it if the hockey mask would have just been regular though. Like if he would have just had all the physical upgrades and he's like, but I'm still the same nigga I always was, and just put the hockey mask on.
Yeah, I going off Jason's design alone and all the hacks he's got in this one, man, it's got to be at least a B tier. This suit is crazy.
I think we can give it the push to A tier. The sheer amount of craziness that he even endures in this movie and the kills that he has, like this is the famous like cryo freeze kill where he smashes the person's face after being frozen in nitrogen. A tier is good for me right here. I don't know how to feel about this next one, because this is a weird crossover movie where we don't even know if it's like canon or not. Freddy versus Jason. I do like this Jason though, because he's actually a badass. We're back to like Deadite Jason. This is pre-Jason X, I guess.
He tanks a lot of damage throughout. Like he really just eats everything. But I think I like more so that he kills Freddie. Somehow Jason ends up being the protagonist, which I enjoy. And I think we all actually hate Freddie. I don't think anyone even likes Freddie. Like when you watch the Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Word,
so to
true.
See, you know, and we're anti-pedophile over here at the Dork Side. Take a very strong stance.
I will say he's very forgettable in this movie, but personality-wise against Freddy Krueger, that's going to happen. Yeah, I'm good with C tier. Finally, Friday the 13th, the reboot. I wish we would have gotten another movie by now, because I actually thought this Jason was really cool. Way more athletic, kind of going back to like hillbilly survivalist Jason. And you really don't see that much of him, honestly. They kind of go more horror route with this movie, where he's kind of like in the shadows. He's like dead shotting people with bows and arrows. Like I think he gets 2 or 3 bow and arrow kills,
which is crazy.
He's still human Jason though. This is what I wish they would just make him go full supernatural in a part 2 of this movie and just have it be a legacy sequel of a reboot. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if that's a thing.
He looks like, to me, like there's obviously something off about him. And I kind of like the fact that he isn't zombified in this one, just because to me it almost makes him feel scarier. because when there is like a feat of strength or something like that, it just feels kind of like more menacing. I guess how he's like this big simple fuck who can just crush people's head in. But like you said, like the stuff with the bow and arrows and things like that, and just like how skilled he is, like not to compare it to like a comic book character, but this isn't like year one Jason. This is like seasoned like year 4 or 5 Jason. Tier wise, I think this is a tough one.
I think it's a B tier. I like that it's a reboot and they did something different with it. But since it is a reboot, I think it's B tier material. Do you agree where we ranked each Jason from the different movies? What are your lists? We'd love to know in the comments down below. And if you want to check out our review of Megan, the first horror movie of 2023, go ahead and click right here. And if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and hit it with a like. And if you're new to the Dork Side, subscribe for more tier lists, reviews, essays, and everything else you need. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.